Welcome to this Facebook Live dedicated specifically to Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday. While others are joining us, let me begin by playing a prelude. I'm online, live on Facebook, and I'm using StreamYard as my streaming provider. So in order for me to see your comments or questions, you need to grant StreamYard the permission to post on your behalf on Facebook. So simply go to streamyard.com/Facebook and grant StreamYard the permission to show your comments on Facebook. So welcome, very warm welcome to this special broadcast live on my Facebook page. I'm also broadcasting on YouTube live at this very moment, and this broadcast is dedicated to Johann Sebastian Bach because today, the 21st of March, it's his birthday according to the old style calendar. And today I want to play for you a lot of music on this instrument I would like to answer any questions you might potentially have. This broadcast is specifically for freelance and self-employed and full-time employed, Baroque and classical and chamber and jazz, violinists, violists, string teachers at conservatories, academies and colleges of music. And of course, it is also for all of the luthiers and music lovers. So a very warm welcome. Before we continue, I would like to ask you a question. Do you agree that music is such a wonderful thing? In fact, if you agree with this, please type yes or type 1 if you agree with this statement that music is a wonderful thing. And type also a 1 or 2 if you agree that connecting in music makes this experience even better. What might be the reason you are joining me today in this broadcast? Well, potentially you are here because you love music and maybe you even like something about what I do. Chances are you're here because you are a violinist or a violist, string teacher. Maybe you are in the profession of music for years, maybe even decades, and potentially sometimes you felt like you didn't have enough concert opportunities or the kind of career opportunities that would allow you to showcase your talent in the best possible light. And if this is why you are here, this is exactly why we are talking today about the Violoncello da Spalla and Johann Sebastian Bach. Here's the thing. When you become an ambassador to this instrument, and this instrument is a page in history of classical music, and Johann Sebastian in particular, what you do is then liken someone to the kind of work Mendelssohn and Casals have done, because these two outstanding music professionals have revived the interest of general audience and also musicians in the music of Bach, and violinists and violists, luthiers, and not only music professionals but those who are not musicians necessarily but involved in the music industry, such as promoters and agents and festivals, who stepped in to bring this musical culture back to life. They elevate the status of what they do. And lots of music professionals currently are finding their unique voice in doing just this. And in this video, I want to speak more about Bach, about music, about what does that mean. So if you have any questions then or any comments, then you are very warmly welcome to comment below this video. Also, let me know where do you join us from what city, from what country. I am in The Hague, the Netherlands, which is just an hour or so from Amsterdam. And I would love to hear where you are joining us from. I'd also love to hear what you do. In a moment I will tell a few words about myself, of course. So before I play a lot more music, I want to note that 2023 is the 20th anniversary since the rebirth of this musical instrument. That means it has been 20 years in the making, and my mind and my heart are overflowing with that feeling of gratitude to lots of music professionals who have embraced this rebirth and made the return of this musical tradition possible. So thank you, and thank you one more time. Now I'm going to play more, and if you want to comment below this video, and if you want me to see your comments, then please do grant the StreamYard permission to post on Facebook on your behalf. Simply go to streamyard.com, and I have just posted a link /Facebook, and this is where you will be able to enable Facebook StreamYard to post on Facebook. I hope you are enjoying this video. If you do, you are very warmly welcome to comment below this video. However, in order for me to see your comments, you need to grant the StreamYard software to post on your behalf on Facebook. Otherwise, I cannot see your comments. I hope that makes sense. You might be wondering, who am I anyway, and why should you spend a few minutes of your time with me? So I would like to reintroduce myself just in case you do not know yet who I am. I'm Dimitri, and I'm the author of the published book on fine violin making, From the Old Master's Legacy to the Future of the Craft, with a foreword by New York Times bestselling author Raymond Aron. And I'm also the author of the upcoming book on the Spalla, how violinists can find their unique voice and open new career opportunities in 14 days. And this book is soon going to be available on Amazon worldwide, as well as on the book's website. However, if you find some value in this instrument, in this musical culture, and in your potentially playing this instrument in your musical life and bringing these musical experiences to your music lovers and your audiences, then you are very warmly welcome to download 100% free and abridged digital edition of this book. Simply comment below this video if you would like to get the link. Simply type link, and that will signal me that you are interested in getting a free copy of this book before it is even available on Amazon. And well, this is who I am. I'm the author. I'm Dimitri. I'm a luthier, mentor, and in the past 30 plus years I am specializing in crafting instruments of the violin family for world-class musicians, and also helping luthiers from all around the world to attract way more success and find their unique voice in the music industry, be it music making or be it making musical instruments. So I would like to play for you more. However, before I play some more, I want to share with you a few thoughts. And the trigger for these thoughts was a post by a very established and very respected musician, violinist, concertmaster of an established symphony orchestra, and on his profile on Facebook he posted, it was literally a scream of his heart: please, please, please support musicians, buy a ticket. And then he went on sharing that he spent an afternoon listening to some of the most extraordinary performances on YouTube and on Spotify practically for free, and he shared that he appreciates that music lovers these days do not need musicians anymore, because all of the most amazing music is available instantly and completely for free. And this is why he begged, please support the musician, buy a ticket. And in as much as I understand the scream of one's soul, and across social media I've realized that it's not just this musician who felt that way, because there are so many musicians in the past couple of years who posted on their profile, under their profile picture, this sticker: art is essential, or culture is essential, or something along these lines. And the thing is, please bear with me because this is crucially important. It is not that it's a lose and win situation where the music lover, when they buy a concert ticket and they support a musician, it's like they lose. The opposite is true. It is a mutually beneficial relationship. And what do I mean by this? It is scientifically proven that music is a powerful tool. It is beneficial to almost everything, practically every faculty of the human body, physiology, and in otherwise. So music has massive positive benefits on almost every aspect of human life. So it is not that musicians need the audience and audience doesn't need musicians. Audiences cannot afford not having musicians, and I hope that makes sense, and I hope you find some value and some meaning in sharing this message. Now let me put this into perspective, because you might be wondering, so what? When I want to take you back to Tokyo 2005, when I was playing some of my very first concerts on this instrument. So you would see me renting a gorgeous concert hall at Tokyo Opera City, one of the chamber concert halls. And I spent lots of money and lots of time and lots of effort on organizing the concert and preparing all this music, the cello suites. And I expected that the concert hall would be completely packed. So when the organizer, the manager of the hall said, "Dimitri, it's time," the door opens, I walk on stage, and I see a concert hall completely full of people. There is just 5 people in the concert hall. How would you feel in my place? Well, I began playing the prelude, but my thoughts were anywhere but not music. And I was telling myself these thoughts like, "Oh, nobody needs music, and who am I anyway? Nobody knows my name, nobody can even pronounce my name." And feeling quite awkward, I stopped playing the prelude, and then I shared a story, and then another story, and then another story, and a story from my life, and why I became a musician, and some stories about the instrument, about Bach, and about why all that matters. And what happened next was absolutely mind-blowing. There's 5 people, of whom I knew 2, maybe 3. They rushed to the artist room after the concert, and they said, "Dimitri, this was so amazing." And I just didn't get what was so amazing. It was a quite awkward situation, but then they said something very interesting that clicked. It was like a lightning bolt. "Dimitri, we wish there were more people, more musicians, more humans as passionate about their own culture as you are about yours here in Japan, because we don't have that many so passionate people about Japanese culture, which is why we lost our culture." And this particular group of people felt very sad about this, because they value culture, because it is in culture that we can connect, we can communicate, we can share common values. And I hope that makes sense. I hope you see the value in culture and what the culture transmits. So I changed my narrative, and at each performance I started sharing more stories. And I realized that this type of stories resonates with that type of people. And these 5 people, 5 buyers, gradually grew to 500 buyers. And when you sell 350 tickets at the average price of 42 euros, well, that means that you are making 14,700 euros per concert. So that's a little bit of an upgrade for someone who was starting practically from zero. And you might be saying, "Well, of course you can do this in Japan. Try to do this in my country." And it's interesting enough, I talked about this with lots of mentees from all kinds of countries, and all of them, well, not all of them, but lots of them mentioned this, that in my country nothing is possible. However, when I worked with one of my mentees from Italy, who said, "Well, in my country it is impossible to make a living or organize anything around classical music, because people just don't want to spend money on classical music concerts. They don't see any value in that." So when I worked with him, how this works, how to do this correctly, he built his audience, he created a small chamber ensemble, and they started making up to 5,000 euros per concert, starting practically from zero. And in a matter of 3 months, they began playing concerts at practically abandoned theaters, of which the Italian countryside is particularly rich. And these theaters, many of them are disused. And the local elite was more than proud to support that musician and see finally there is a musician passionate about reviving these musical traditions. Are you still with me? Are you still watching? And I have a question to you. If you have any questions, then please comment below this video. However, I cannot see your comments unless you grant StreamYard the permission to post on your behalf on Facebook underneath this video. So go ahead and grant that permission to StreamYard, otherwise I won't be able to see your comments. Okay, so I would like to play some more music for you. In case you just joined and you don't know who am I would like to introduce myself one more time. I'm Dimitri. I'm the publisher, author of the book on fine violin making. I'm the author of the upcoming book on Violoncello da Spalla. Here's this beautiful proof copy. Book on da Spalla, how violinists can find their unique voice and open new career opportunities. And as I mentioned earlier, 2023 is the 20th anniversary since the rebirth of this musical instrument. And in a moment I'm going to tell you more about this and hopefully also answer any questions which you might potentially have. So I will be answering questions which I imagine I know that you might have in your mind. At least I have been doing this for 20 years, so I can guess with lots of certainty what kind of questions lots of people have about this culture, about this musical instrument, but I cannot read your mind. So if you have any questions, then you are very warmly welcomed. And not to be too shy and simply comment. Again, if you don't have any questions, that's wonderful. Simply enjoy. Still, I would love to hear where you are joining us from, what you do, and if you are enjoying this video. Quite lots of violinists and violists asked me this question: how long time does it take to learn Violoncello da Spalla? It's a great question, and if you are one of these people wondering, well, here's the answer. If you are a violinist and violist, or a violist, and you've been playing the violin and the viola for a number of years, and you have all that technique that you have developed, the violin or the viola, well, you can transfer that technique to this instrument and play it fairly soon. So myself being very slow, it took me a whopping 14 days to figure out where the strings are and how to play this. Well, my wife was on stage 5 days after she got invited to play as violoncellist the Spalla. One of my clients, Brian Sinti, a composer, multi-instrumentalist and award-winning director, he used this instrument in a professional context, that is for a recording. And literally the moment the delivery guys left his room, so I don't know, what was it, an hour, maybe 2, maybe less. That's how long it took him. And recently a brilliant musician, a client, visited me from New York City, a former graduate of the Juilliard School of Music. Well, that was a very interesting case because he came, he grabbed his instrument and he started playing, and I was truly surprised because in the past 20 years I've never seen anyone playing the violoncello da Spalla so well from the very beginning. And when I asked him, Artie, how is that even possible? Did you have some kind of instrument that you could practice? And he said, no, I just practiced in my mind. And this is a powerful technique. Mind sculpture is a wonderful ancient technique which anyone can use and practice their skills. I hope you see some value in this knowledge. You might be wondering what this instrument is anyway. Today we call it Violoncello da Spalla. However, in the 17th and 18th centuries, composers and musicians called it simply violoncello. And this is an Italian instrument which appeared probably in the region of Bologna in the early 17th century. And it's a fascinating thing, the history of this instrument. The earliest violoncello was a very large instrument, potentially much larger than the modern full-size cello. And you might be asking yourself this question, why? What might be the reason? Well, the reason is that in the early 17th century, there were no metal wound strings. So the strings were plain animal guts, which means in order for animal guts to sound in the cello octave, they had to be fairly thick. And when the strings are thick, they are less flexible, which is why you need larger instruments. And this is the reason why also in the 17th century violins had longer strings, and the modern day violin actually appeared fairly late, according to the historical sources. That's not my invention, of course. So what happened later? In the second half of the 17th century, the metal wound strings were invented, and this was like a revolution in the history of classical music. So what does that mean, metal wound string? So you take a gut string and you put some wire on it, and that means that the core of the string, the gut core of the string, can be thinner. And since it is thinner, it is way more flexible. And this is why it was suddenly possible to make much smaller instruments. And this is when the violoncello of this size, and of course also very much larger than this size, were introduced. This is when the 7-chord lute was invented. This is when the French 7-string viol was invented, and the invention of these metal wound strings gave birth not just to the new musical instruments and the new type of violoncello for that matter, but even to the new genre in classical music, that is the instrumental concerto, because it became much easier to play violins and cellos, and the instruments became louder, which means they could carry against and above a string orchestra, and they were more agile. That means that musicians could play way more elaborate and technically demanding things on those instruments. So the violoncello as of this type was introduced in the second half of the 17th century in or around Bologna. And this is when musicians and composers who had violinistic background, that is, they were used to play violins or violas, but not necessarily violone or viol, vertically held bass instruments, could simply pick a violoncello of any size that was appropriate for them. It could have been considerably bigger than this instrument. It all depends on the technical demands of the repertoire that they were playing, and I hope that makes sense. And this means that musicians such as Johann Sebastian Bach, who was a virtuoso violinist and violist, could have picked violoncello of approximately this size. In fact, his house in Eisenach still features a violoncello of exactly this size, and he most likely wrote the cello suites for the instrument of this size, and on this instrument he potentially was the first performer of the cello suites. Now, with that said, I don't want to offend any cellists out there. It does not imply, and I'm not implying, that historical sources suggest that the larger cello couldn't have been played vertically. Of course it could, because, and I hope you are still with me and I hope you are paying attention, because this is important, because the Spalla does not refer to a musical instrument. It just refers to the method of holding the violoncello. So what is this instrument and what is this all about? This is not just about the instrument, and this is important because even violists and violinists who are playing this instrument today, and there are more and more players all around the world today embracing the rebirth of this musical instrument, sometimes they are missing the point. I'm not saying that it's you, but maybe somebody else, they're missing the point. It's not about the instrument. It's about reviving the musical culture. And that's what matters. And coming back to that story of a very famous musician, concertmaster of an established symphony orchestra somewhere in the United States, who earlier this year posted a video on his Facebook profile telling that, hey, support musicians, nobody's buying tickets these days, concert halls are empty. Well, nobody needs musicians. Nobody needs you if you are a musician. It's as simple as that. Nobody needs culture. Culture is not essential. What is essential is what these musicians and what that culture adds in other people's lives. What do I mean by this? Look, nobody needs pots, pans and plates, or cooks for that matter. What people need is a healthy food, preferably shared in a heartwarming company of trusting friends, because that brings the beauty and meaning to the life. And similarly, it's not about decibels, it's not about hertz, it's not about frequencies, it's not about even repertoire, it's not even about these cello suites. It's about what this music brings to people's lives. And I hope more and more and more and more musicians will have the guts to share their message and speak up. Because remember, without a story, you are one per minute. With a story, you are one of a kind. And when I work with musicians and clients commissioning instruments from my workshop, the Badiarov violins, I'm really passionate about not just crafting an instrument that would help these musicians to get from where they are in their professional and personal lives to where they want to be as humans and as professionals, but also I'm passionate about helping them to craft their story so they can build these deep, meaningful connections with their audiences so that they can build that trust that is so missing in so many people's lives, because that is what it is all about. Are you with me? Nobody needs music. Music is not essential. Musicians are not essential. No one needs you if you're a musician, but what you can add in other people's lives through music, that is essential. Does it make sense? Please comment below this video. Let's say type 10 if that makes sense and if you agree. It's all about the trust, the connection, the belonging in culture. Because what is opposite to connection? What is opposite to belonging? What is opposite to culture? Just imagine cultureless world, what that would look like. I believe it would be a savage world. And personally, I don't know about you, but personally I don't want to see my children growing in a savage world, which is why musicians, music and culture are essential. Are you with me? Hello, Jean from South Carolina. Great to see you here, Jean. Thank you very much for joining me. If you are enjoying this video, I will appreciate if you share this so that some more people discover the beauty of Bach's music, and especially the beauty of Violoncello da Spalla. Again, it's not about the instrument, but it's about the rebirth of that beautiful musical culture. People like us, I'm not saying everybody, but people like us see lots of value in that musical culture. So let me play some more music for you. I hope you are still enjoying this video. If you do, then comment below this video. One more time, I want to remind you, if you have just joined us, in order for me to see your comments or your questions, you need to grant the StreamYard permission to post on Facebook on your behalf. Otherwise, even if you post something, I will not see your comments. So you might be wondering why cellists play this music all the time, and why lots of other musicians play the Bach's cello suites all the time. You might be wondering why I'm playing this music all the time for the past, since 2005. I'm very bad at math, so please do the calculation for me. Why the prelude in particular is featured in so many movies. And Yo-Yo Ma, in one of his interviews, said, well, the prelude in particular from the G major suite by Johann Sebastian Bach represents the very nature itself, with its constant state of flow. And there is all this imagery which it can evoke in one's imagination. But again, music is a non-verbal communication, which means there is no specificity, which means that anyone can give any meaning they want to that music. And music is a little bit like a book. It's a little bit like when children begin learning to read. In the beginning, they just recognize the letters. Then they learn how to form words from those letters. Then they learn how to make sentences from those words, and then finally get the meaning behind those words. And music is a little bit like this. It's a little bit like a book. It does not reveal itself immediately, but by listening more and really just opening your imagination, just relax and let the music talk to you, you will begin discovering enormous depth in this music. Now, what do I mean by this? Let me go back for just a second to the prelude. And when I start playing this prelude, the very first measure for me associates with almost like opening a door or opening a window into the past and present and the future. How absolutely magical and how simple. And it is a little bit like, if you ever stayed at a resort with an ocean view, it's a little bit like opening the terrace or the window with a view on the ocean and taking this breath of fresh air. Well, it doesn't have to be ocean. You might be living somewhere in downtown Tokyo, and maybe you open the window and you see a very busy railroad crossing with lots of small residential buildings. But at certain season of the year, maybe even today, 21st of March, Bach's birthday, you open that window and you see that sakura in blossom. You take this breath and it just makes you feel good. And that's just what I feel in this music. But not only that, this prelude in particular is so profound. As Yo-Yo Ma said, it reminds the nature with its constant state of flow. And you see this flow in the ocean and in the rivers, in the wind, in the forest, in the clouds. But this music also reminds me a little bit of a human life. And it's a little bit like many professionals, maybe artists, maybe musicians, who are doing the same kind of thing again and again and again. So they do something like this. And then they try another harmony. And then another. And they keep doing this very hard for many years, and it does bring lots of joy and harmony in musicians' lives, and lots of music lovers absolutely enjoy this, but it doesn't mean that these same artists, musicians sometimes do not lose the direction, do not lose the meaning in what they do. It doesn't mean that sometimes disillusionments or doubts does not hit anyone. I'm not saying it's you, but maybe sometimes you met other people who have lost direction, lost something, lost meaning in life, or simply doubted yourself or the meaning or the value of what they do. And this is what you find here in this piece. This is a measure where music, all this constant flow, suddenly stops. Wondering, a big question mark, and then seeking again. Where does that come from? E flat in G major, and then C sharp in G major. Maybe you heard of some other people who met obstacles and struggles, maybe even pain in their lives, and this is really a little bit of that here. But then you come back. And here we arrive to the nearly climax point, the dominance. And it is almost like in some people's lives, it's finding the raison d'être, the reason why, and that applies to artists, musicians, also business owners. When people really understand the purpose, the meaning of why they are doing what they are doing, it's inspiring to say the least. And knowing why you are doing what you're doing helps to achieve way more in professional, personal, and otherwise in any kind of life. What do I mean by this? And here we find it. And we begin this climb. So wonderful. Once you arrive there, after you found your reason why, you are still doing the same thing. Look, in the beginning we're doing this. And we're still doing this. But on a very, very different level. And again, that's my personal interpretation. I find a lot of human life, stories of human life in this music. And of course, every single person probably finds entirely a different meaning in this music. And the thing is, not necessarily all music lovers necessarily understand this. And when more musicians kind of speak about this, it really resonates with people. It really connects you with your audience. I would like to play some more music for you, since today is Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday. So I will play the suite number 2 in its entirety. And if you happen to have any thoughts, comments, something that you would like to share or ask, you are very warmly welcome to comment below this video. In order for me to see your comments, you have to allow StreamYard to post on your behalf on Facebook, because if you don't, I will simply not see your comments. It is very interesting to see what Isaac Stern has done. Isaac Stern has increased the repertoire for classical violin by dozens of percents. It is also very interesting to see what Mstislav Rostropovich has done for the cello. He has enlarged the repertoire of the classical cello by some 30%, according to Yo-Yoma. And what Yo-Yoma himself has done is also truly remarkable, because not only he enlarged the repertoire of the classical cello even further, he also blurred the boundaries. And if before the cello was seen normally as just a very serious classical instrument, today you can see this instrument being used in all kinds of genres and in all kinds of even ethnic music. And what we are doing as violinists and violists, bringing back to life this musical culture and this musical instrument, is in essence increasing the repertoire. Violinists, multi-instrumentalists can play, and we're talking about a pretty nice increase in repertoire. So there is a lot of music violinists and violists can play on this instrument. And I want to repeat this because this is important. There is a lot of repertoire for this instrument, and frequently I get this question: so Dimitri, what can you play on this instrument? Is it just the cello suite number 6, or is there any other repertoire? And as I've mentioned in the beginning of this video, the composers in the 17th and 18th centuries never referred to this instrument as violoncello da Spalla. They called it simply violoncello, and you can see this in the works of Caldara. Caldara is one of the most important cello composers from Venice. He worked at St. Mark's Cathedral, and he composed an enormous number of works where the cello is used, and he never signed the part violoncello, although in the archives of St. Mark's Cathedral he is listed as a violoncellist da Spalla. The same is true about Giovanni Maria Bononcini. The same is true about Buffagnotti, who was a famous engraver of the time. He was a cellist, a founding member of Accademia Filarmonica di Bologna, and remarkably he was also a student of the celebrated cellist Giuseppe Iacchini, who in turn was a student of Domenico Gabrieli, the founder of the Bolognese School of Cello. We do not know anything about how Gabrieli played the cello or the type of cello he played. We do not know anything about Iacchini. We know that in one of his works there is an illustration of a cellist with a vertically held instrument, potentially played vertically. However, Buffagnotti himself made an engraving for Torelli concertini for violin and violoncello, and there he shows a violoncellist with an instrument considerably larger than that, held very clearly just above the right shoulder. Buffagnotti was a cellist. So the question is, did the cellists in the 17th and 18th century had any clue about what violoncello was? And if they did, like the cellists today, if they did, then is it possible that Buffagnotti was not drunk or something when he designed this beautiful engraving in the part for Torelli's concertini, showing violoncellist with the cello against the shoulder? So again, what we are doing here is reviving a whole lost page in culture of classical music, reviving this instrument that opens doors to new career opportunities and helps violinists and violists to find their unique voice. It helps even string teachers, violin teachers, viola teachers at conservatories, those teachers who sometimes accompany their students by playing bass. And if before they were doing this on a harpsichord, maybe on the violin, now some of them are doing this on the Violoncello da Spalla, and that way more students, music professionals, get introduced to this instrument. And it's really remarkable. 20 years ago, not even all musicians knew about what violoncello da Spalla is. Today, I hear about this even from people who have nothing to do with music, and this could have never been achieved without the passion and dedication and effort of so many talented professionals and luthiers, and my clients and the clients of other luthiers. They are more and more and more music professionals embracing this musical culture and sharing these valuable messages with their audiences and adding more value in their audiences' lives and also, of course, in their professional circles. So let me play another piece. If you have any questions, comment below this video. Many violinists and violists ask, is it heavy? Is it difficult? Sometimes this question makes me laugh because it implies as though violinists or musicians in general are the kind of people who does just the easy kind of things. But if you never have seen this instrument in your life, I appreciate the question. I do understand and I hear you. So this instrument is suspended on the belt, which means although it is larger than the violin, it is larger than the viola, much larger than the viola, it is somewhat heavier than the viola, and nonetheless it is easier to hold this instrument because you do not need to hold the weight of the instrument on your left arm. The instrument is literally hanging on the belt, and the belt is not going around the neck, so there is no weight on your neck. The belt is going around your back. Let me turn around so that you can see. So as you can see, the belt is going around my back. There is no weight of the instrument even on my neck, and that makes it considerably easier to play than the viola, which is tiring to hold for hours on end. And this is the reason why violists and even violinists sometimes develop profession-related diseases later in their lives. Now, with Violoncello da Spalla, of course, we do not have just yet, musicians who've been doing this for like non-stop for 20, well, actually we do have musicians doing this for 20 plus years, but we have not yet observed this kind of negative effects of the instrument on the physical health of the player. So the other thing is, you might be wondering what kind of fingering we are using on this instrument. Do we play it with the cello finger because it's a large instrument? And the answer to this question is we play this instrument with a normal violin or viola fingering, although there are some situations where you simply want to avoid the unnecessary stretch, and then you would play with the cello or guitar or lute fingering rather than with the violin or the viola fingering, and that helps you to avoid unnecessary strain on the left arm. Now, because the position of the left hand, we stretch the first finger and the second finger rather than the small finger, the pinky, and it is a little bit like the cellist's posture or the viola posture, and that too releases that unnecessary strain on your left hand, and this is why you can also reach wider intervals on this instrument. By the way, the string length on this instrument is nowhere near as long as on the lute or the guitar or the viol, depends which viol, or the full-size cello. Another thing which makes this instrument very natural to play for the player is, of course, the playing posture. When you play the violin or the viola, you need to raise your left arm fairly high, and sometimes even need to twist your head, your neck, your body, and it is simply not the most natural posture. However, when you play the violoncello da Spalla, as you have already noted, I've been doing this for almost an hour now, you simply raise your hands, just like this, like you would meet a dear friend somewhere downtown. Hey, nice to see you. And that is the playing posture on the violoncello da Spalla. You do not need to raise your hands anywhere higher than this. Except sometimes, of course, well, you raise the instrument a little bit higher, especially when you play on the Eastern, you want to do that in order to avoid almost vertical bowing. There is a lot more music that I would like to play for you. Just to remind you, hi, I'm Dimitri. I'm the author of the published book on fine violin making, from the old master's legacy to the future of the craft, with a foreword by New York Times bestselling author Raymond Aron, and the author of the upcoming book on the Spalla, how violinists can find their unique voice and open new career opportunities in 14 days. In the past 30 plus years, I've been specializing in crafting instruments for world-class musicians from anywhere in the world and helping alpha musicians to find their unique voice and attract way more success in their lives. I would love to hear your thoughts, questions. If you have anything to say, anything to share, then you are very warmly welcomed, not to be too shy, and simply comment live below this video. But remember, in order for me to see who is commenting and to see your comments, you need to allow StreamYard to post on Facebook on your behalf underneath this video. And by the way, if you find some value in this video, then I would appreciate if you share it with your friends or your colleagues. Lots of violinists asked me, what type of bow can you use on this instrument? And the answer is very simple. You can begin playing this instrument with a violin bow or a viola bow. However, a special cello da Spalla bow, which is an adapted Baroque cello bow, will definitely do the best job. And we have experimented extensively in the past 20 years, and we discovered that even the top-notch bows, such as Dominique Pecat, today priced at $250,000 or even more, just won't cut on the Violoncello da Spalla. Why not? You might be wondering. Well, here's why. Although it is considerably more heavy and is less, somewhat unwieldy on this instrument, it simply doesn't have enough strength. There is not enough distance between the hair and the stick. And when you play Violoncello da Spalla, the point of contact between the bow and the string is so much lower than on the violin, and you exert so much more weight of your bowing arm. And this is where extra strong, extra light Baroque cello bow with extra distance between the hair and the stick really makes it work. And sometimes clients ask, Dimitri, do you also make bows? And although I've made about 100 bows, I stopped making bows already quite a long time ago, more than 10 years ago. However, when musicians commission a Violoncello da Spalla of my work, sometimes they also ask, where did I find the bow? And in those exceptional cases, sometimes I also craft a custom design bow that would be the perfect match for their specific violoncello da Spalla. Hello Joe, very nice to have you with us. And thank you very much for your comments. So let me share your question on screen so that other people can see this. Yes, you are right. So there is a strap of some kind, and basically this is a belt. So the instrument is supported on the belt, and that way there is no weight of the instrument whatsoever to hold with my arms. Additionally, some musicians ask, what type of strings can you use on violoncello da Spalla? Can I use violin strings, or can I use guitar or viol or cello strings or viola strings? And the answer to this question is very simple. No, you can't. Unfortunately, for this instrument, you need specifically designed violoncello da Spalla strings. You might be wondering, where on planet Earth can you find those strings? Again, the answer to this question is very simple. Today, there is an ever-increasing number of string makers providing strings for this instrument, and you could go to aquilaccordi.com right now and purchase a set of strings, the one that I'm using right now. You could also contact Tomastic if you are more into modern sounds, more contemporary music, so you will find Tomastic strings on Tomastic website, but you need to know that you won't find the strings on the website itself. What you will have to do instead is simply send a message to Tomastic and purchase and order strings for Violoncello da Spalla. Now, from the personal experiences of some of my clients and mentees, Tomastic is a giant company, so there is a slight chance that you reach out to Tomastic and you ask them to send you a set of beautiful Violoncello da Spalla strings, and the employee at Tomastic will say, never heard about this, we don't make those strings. So then simply tell them that you heard about me, about Tomastic strings for Violoncello da Spalla, that you are 100% certain that Tomastic does produce strings for Violoncello da Spalla, so that the uninformed employee at Tomastic Strings or Tomastic string making company will figure it out for you, and they will be able to send you a set of beautiful Tomastic strings. Now, if you are more into the dominant type of strings, then Tomastic is a very good option for you. And if you are more into more guttier, more baroque sounds, then you will probably like more Aquila strings. And Aquila makes two kinds of strings. So there is a gut set, and there's also a synthetic set of strings. And you can simply choose. Let me check if there are any more comments. Joe, there is a question from Joe asking how is this instrument tuned? So there are 5 strings, and according to Leopold Mozart, the instrument could have been made with 4 strings or 5 strings. So they are tuned in the same range as the cello, so C, G, D, A, just like the modern cello, because remember, this instrument was called violoncello. Okay, so let's make this clear. This instrument was not called viola pomposa or any other kind of name. So this instrument was called by the composer simply violoncello. Bach sometimes called it a small bass, bassetgen. However, in the cantatas, Leipzig cantatas, or the Brandenburg concerti, and of course in the suites for violoncello solo, he simply calls it a violoncello. I hope that answers your question, Joe. Thank you very much. What a gratifying feeling to play this instrument. If you have never played anything as generously large as this, you probably cannot even imagine what it sounds like. When you hold a body vibrating so powerfully against your chest, you feel like your entire body turns into a musical instrument. You feel like your entire body, your mind, your head, your heart, your guts, your entire body vibrates in unison with the very music that you are playing, this timeless music. And you know what happens when you turn into music? Your audience feels that. And not only your audience feels that, which is kind of a beautiful thing, but also the professionals from all walks of life really start getting it. They really start seeing what happens to the musical culture, or any culture for that matter, when simply not enough people care. If people don't care, it disappears. And when it disappears, it's gone forever, which means in that culture, people no longer can connect. And you know what disconnected people can do. Very often musicians, and especially music lovers, ask me this question: Dimitri, why your bridges are black? Are they made from aluminium or from ebony, or are they painted? And maybe you are also wondering why normally Badiarov bridges are always black, or almost always black. And this is where we come to a very deep and beautiful and philosophical, or spiritual rather, conversation. Because if you ever ask yourself a question, why bridge is called bridge, although in the English language that makes no sense whatsoever. It's not a bridge. If anything, it is a string support or a string holder. So why bridge? Why in other European languages it is also called bridge? In Italian it is called il ponticello, el puente in Spanish, el ponte. In Portuguese, I'm not quite sure about the correct Portuguese grammar here, please correct me if I'm wrong. I feel I'm wrong. Why is it called chevalet in French, which makes even less sense? It's total nonsense. Why is it called a small horse in a number of Slavic languages, including the Old Russian? Why the character of horse is included in the Chinese character for the bridge, and the Japanese language uses that character, so there is a horse even in Chinese, even in Japanese language, and it still means that little horse. So here's the answer to this question. Let me begin with the bridge first, and then we will talk about the horse. Both are beautiful stories, and that brings also fond memories of one of my Japanese audiences, the Tokyo Opera City Recital Hall, asking me this question that provoked a beautiful conversation. So I told him, look at the bridge, or rather at the design of musical instruments. Once upon a time, probably thousands of years ago, maybe 2,000 years ago, in a lute-like instrument, which is almond-shaped, at the bottom of the lute, they used the figure, the sacred figure of Vesica Piscis. And this is a very interesting spiritual, esoteric symbol which exists across many cultures, not just in Europe, but also in Asia. So what does this culture represent? Well, potentially no, but just in case. The Vesica Pisces is an intersection of two circles. So they are two circles of equal diameter and they intersect each other in the centers. And so this figure is used at the very bottom of a lute. And this tiny piece of wood which holds the strings of a lute, that medieval or archaic ancient lute, was called bridge. Why? Well, here's why. Because Vesica Pisces is a esoterical and a spiritual symbol, where one circle represents the universe of the divine, the gods, and the other circle represents the universe or the world of the human. And that little piece of wood that connects the two circles was called the bridge because it connected the humans, or the world of the humans, with that world of the divine. As it were, the harmony, the music was the pathway towards the divine. And even if we remove this spiritual or religious connotation, you could still interpret it as a pathway from where you are today to where you want to be, from where you are, who you are today, to the very best version of yourself. And that's what music does. Again, it is not my invention. It is scientifically proven again and again and again that music is massively beneficial to all kinds of humans, whether they play or they don't play musical instruments. Of course, better if they do, because then the effect of music is even more profound. And this is why it was called bridge. And then other European stringed instruments simply borrowed that name. Are you still with me? If you have any questions, you're very warmly welcome to comment below this video, because I'm here to help you to understand some of those more esoteric things about fine lute theory, about these deep ideas behind this enigmatic shape of the violin or any other musical instruments for that matter. So for that very reason, Antonio Stradivari has designed the figures of Titans on the bridge of his Medici viola. And of all Titans, why Atlas? Well, Atlas was one of the 12 Titans who was punished and was supposed to hold on his shoulders the universe for eternity. That's what he's doing. He's carrying this weight of the strings, which is of course a symbolical representation of the harmony of the universe, the Harmonia Mundi, this very ancient Greek Pythagorean tradition. And that's what the Titans do. Titans, Atlases, on the bridge of Stradivarian viola, they support that harmony of the universe on their shoulders. Now, if you take this concept a little bit farther into your life, into today's life, this is what you are doing. You're the Titan of today. You're the Atlas of today. You are the one who is carrying the harmony of the universe on your shoulder. You're here to inspire and empower people to do meaningful, beautiful things. They are not expecting perfect things. Meaningful is better than perfect. And I hope that makes sense. You are an Atlas holding the harmony of the universe on your shoulders. So why don't you share that message with more people? We are constantly looking for more musicians who dare to speak and share the message with their audiences, so that together we create more connections in this culture. Because again, what is the opposite of connection? And what is the opposite of culture? It's not about musical instruments. It's not even about Violoncello Spalla. It's not even about Johann Sebastian Bach. It is about what all this means to us as humankind. I hope that makes some sense to you, and I hope that you see some value in this. Not all people see some value in that, and that's completely fine. That's completely fine. Just people like us do. So which kind of people do you belong to? By the way, are you enjoying this live broadcast here on Facebook in the connection with Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday, my by far most favorite composer. And if you enjoy them, you can do two beautiful things to help and spread this musical culture far and wide in this message, just simply by sharing this video on your profile or on your page and inviting your friends or your colleagues or your spouse or kids to just enjoy this a little bit more. If you are a string teacher at some conservatoire, an academy or college of music, then share this video with your students. Let's do it together. Let's create a more connected and more beautiful world. I would like to play some more music for you, but let me first check if there are any other comments here and maybe some questions. Hi, John. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind comments. Hello, Karina. Hello from south of Holland. Karina, I hugely appreciate your joining us. And I also appreciate your sharing so many of my videos. I truly appreciate it. So thank you very much. I would like to play now the cello suite number 3. By the way, it would be also very helpful if you comment below what you do in your life. Because if you are a violist or a violinist, if you are a string teacher, then I can tailor my presentation to what makes it more valuable to you. And if you are a music lover, then I do not need to speak about the technical things or musicology, because who cares? It's not about musicology. We are here to connect in this beautiful music on this beautiful day and just simply enjoy and not talk about belts or the weight of the instrument or fingering. Some musicians ask if I ship my instruments to other countries, and yes, indeed, that's what I do, and I've been doing this for the past 30 years. And the funny thing about the shipping process is, besides enjoying the entire process of working with me and crafting the instrument, when my clients actually see the instrument being created in front of their eyes, even if they are not living in my city, I simply send them videos and photographs of the work, and I explain the whole process. They especially love the delivery, because lately I'm using a specialized art shippers, a company that specializes specifically in handling multi-million-dollar or euro works of art, and that company works with Louvre Museum and the Met Museum, the Sotheby's, and Art Basel and Art Miami, and other important museums and private collections and auctions. And these days I'm shipping my instruments with that same company. So yes, I do ship all around the world. If you have anything to say, any questions, you are very warmly welcome to comment below this video. One more time, I want to remind you that in order for me to see your comments, you need to grant the permission to StreamYard to post on Facebook on your behalf. Don't worry, nothing will be posted on your profile if you don't want it. So, and that will help me to see that you are with us, and that will help me to see your comments and therefore answer your questions if you may have any questions. Some musicians also asked me, of all colors, why black? So in the previous talk I explained what means bridge and why bridge is called bridge in the English language. So here's why I paint them black, because if they are not painted black, then there is no question why the bridge is black, and then there is no chance to connect in that very ancient story and share this story with audiences. So my clients absolutely love when they receive their Badiarov instruments with their bridges painted black, because they also love sharing that story and connecting with their audiences, their colleagues, their promoters, agents and festivals. And so why black? There is another very beautiful story, and very ancient story too. Now that story takes us all the way back to the 19th century China. So there is a story of Peng Yuling, who is a famous Chinese calligrapher and a poet. So here's a story. When Peng Yuling was still a small boy, young boy, his mother has adopted an orphaned girl whose name was Meigo. So the kids grew together, and when they reached a certain age, they fell wildly in love with each other and they wanted to marry. However, the elderly of the village somehow decided that Peng Yuling didn't marry the hand of Meigo, so she was betrothed to another man. So, and shortly after her marriage to that other man, she died in a childbirth. And completely heartbroken, Peng Yuling decided to dedicate 100,000 paintings of plum in blossom, because Meigo's nickname was the plum girl. She loved plums. And this is why Peng Yuling decided to paint 100,000 scrolls of plum blossoms. And not only he kept the promise, he became one of the most famous and important calligraphers, and the girl and this love story is immortalized now in these scrolls dedicated to her. But here's the meaning behind all this, because you might wonder, so what? Well, I paint my bridges black with Chinese ink for that very specific reason, to remind my clients, and not only my clients, also my clients' audiences. And this is what I was doing with my audiences at the time. Long time ago, I have not been on stage 13 years, and I have not been practicing this instrument for 13 years, well, other than 3 or 4 times a year, so that my clients can remember that their gift, their love of music, is that metaphorical Meigo who doesn't have to die in childbirth. So you need to fight for your gift, and you really need to do what it takes to share your gift with the world. Just imagine how well you could play this instrument, given that you are a full-time violinist or violist or string teacher at a conservatoire or an academy or college of music. I'm not implying that I'm playing well, but I'm playing somehow, even though practicing just 3 or 4 times a year. Normally when I deliver an instrument, just before delivering an instrument to my client, I love playing that instrument so that I really can match the sound of the instrument exactly to the liking of the client. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, and then feel free to comment below this video. Now it's a little bit like a live concert online. Of course I cannot hear your reactions, I cannot see your faces, but hopefully you can hear and see me, and I hope you find some value in this. However, in order for me to see your comments, you need to enable StreamYard to post on Facebook on your behalf. A lot of musicians also asked me about repertoire, so how much music is there to play on this instrument. So in my personal experience, I played on this instrument even vocal repertoire, not to mention the violin or the viola, the viol repertoire, and of course cello repertoire. So there is a lot of music. Only Johann Sebastian Bach, there's a lot of music that you could play for the rest of your life, even the cello suites. And besides this, there is a very large Baroque cello repertoire which you can play on Violoncello da Spalla. And some musicians want to be very, very cautious, and God forbid they do something musicologists would not approve. Because the thing is, although we know for certain that Antonio Caldara was violoncellist da Spalla at St. Mark's Cathedral, and he never used the term violoncello da Spalla, he used the term violoncello, and we know, now you know also that this instrument was normally called violoncello. So you can say that in hundreds of works by Antonio Caldara, this instrument has certainly been used. But then the question is, can you use this instrument in the works of Vivaldi, who lived exactly at the same time and in the same city? And anyway, in my opinion, or let me ask you rather this question, then tell my opinion. Do you even need the permission of anyone else to create beauty on stage? Feel inspired and inspire others, and together create a more harmonious, more trusting, more connected world. Thank you, Karina. I truly appreciate it. I would like to play some more pieces for you. You can learn way more about this whole story in the journey of the rebirth of Violoncello da Spalla and this page in the history and culture of classical music from my book on the Spalla, how violinists and violists can find their unique voice and open new career opportunities in 14 days. And by the way, you can get the entire book completely for free. Simply go to the book's website, bookonthespalla.com or readers.bookonthespalla.com, and this is where you can get an abridged digital edition of the book before even it is available on Amazon. And let me play for you the last piece, which is the Sieg from the Suite number 3 by Johann Sebastian Bach, whose birthday we celebrate today, and this is the reason why I am online in this Facebook Live together with you. So let's enjoy the last piece. And that will conclude today's live on this beautiful occasion of Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday, the 21st of March, 1685. And that is according to the old style calendar. So according to the new style calendar, some people say his birthday was on the 31st of March, which means we might still connect a couple of times here on Facebook Live, and I'm really looking forward to doing this more for you, especially if you find some value in this music and in the rebirth of this musical culture. If you are a violinist or violist or a string teacher at some conservatory or academy or a college of music, and if you are equally passionate about musical culture and especially what that culture adds in other people's lives. Because I want to remind yet one more time, it's not about Bach, it's not about music, it's not about instruments, it's not about you being a musician. Yes, it is very important, but that is not the most essential thing. The most essential thing is what that culture, what music adds in other people's lives. And I hope you are getting the point. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then I would like to invite you kindly consider the next possible step for you and get a completely free, unabridged edition of my book on the Spalla, how violinists can find their unique voice and open new career opportunities in 14 days. Here's the book just arrived from the publisher, so this is not yet the official copy that will go on the shelves of the bookstores around the world and on Amazon, anywhere in the world, as well as on the book's website. This is a proof copy. I'm now reading this and making the very last edits, which means that the book is here just a few little steps until the book goes live. However, for you, because you joined, because you potentially like music together with me, maybe you even like something about what I do, I'm very happy to give you a free unabridged edition, digital edition of this book. So let me share with you a link where you can find that book. It is readers.book on the spalla.com, and this is where you can get the copy of this book completely for free. So I would like to thank all of you for your kind words, your comments, joining us today, and I wish you a lovely evening or day or morning wherever you're joining us in the world. And I'm really looking forward to sharing with you more music and more stories, tips and tricks on how you could grow your career and achieve way more success in your musical and personal life, regardless what you do, whether you are a professional Baroque or classical chamber violist or a soloist or a luthier. So really looking forward to connecting with you very soon. And for now, that's all. All the best.